This episode of Smite Weekly brought to you by Quest Mode. Quest Mode is a way to play free mobile games to help support the Twitchiest community and earn yourself real-life Twitch subs and real-life cash for free, guys. And if you're at the top of our monthly leaderboard here for the month of June, you will grab yourself an Oculus Rift for being the #1 contributor and helping us out. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Smite Weekly, guys, where we cover all of the events in Smite this week that happened so that you can stay informed, guys. This week's going to be a little bit different. We're going to cover some things really quickly here at the start, but there was one ginormous, huge, massive thing that we're going to spend the most of our time talking about because it's going to affect everybody in Smite, and that's going to be the future of where matchmaking is going. First up, though, guys, in our news, we had a huge roster change, guys. ZAPMAN from Team Trifecta getting benched. Met Yankee, the previous mid laner, getting moved over to the ADC role. And Paul, previously from Anxiety Onset of the minor league, becoming the new mid laner for Trifecta, guys. If you want to read all of this, you'll be able to do so. Of course, I will link everything down in the description. ZAPMAN not happy about getting replaced. He tweeted out about it, said he didn't think it was deserved, that he was performing well enough. Obviously, the Trifecta roster did not think so, so they brought in Paul. They've made the roster swap, and so far they're looking pretty good as a team, and we'll see how they continue to develop. Also this week, guys, we had patch 5.9 finally get to the live client. There was a lot of issues with patch 5.9. Most notably, for those that got to play during those hours, about 50% of the gods in ranked were banned when patch 5.9 came out. There was other various issues, but that was definitely the biggest one, was gods were just flat out not available in ranked. They were pre-banned. We saw Thanatos get removed from the game due to a game-breaking bug. Now Zhonghui is removed from the game, I believe still currently from ranked because of bugs. So a lot of issues with this patch, but because of that, we did get basically a statement from Stu saying, hey, we are trying to fix some of the back-end code for Smite. They basically said, hey, our back-end code is kind of a mess, obviously, and they're slowly trying to, through patches, go through and organize and clean up the back-end code of Smite so that when they come and patch the game with new patches, their new code won't so royally screw up some of that old coding in the background, which is great, but hopefully they can just get to it sooner than later because they've been taking a lot of time with these patches. But it should be noted that patches will now be back on the 2-week patch schedule. The last couple of patches have taken about 3 weeks, but now they will be taking back the 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens. While we may have gotten patch 5.9 patched into the live client this week, guys, we also got patch notes for 5.10. This is going to be the next patch, guys. It's already going on. We've already got those patch notes done. Reminder that patch notes are Fridays now at 11 a.m. Eastern every other Friday. Most notably in this patch, guys, is we have the new adventure. This adventure, no BM, actually looks very fun. It is going to be a 3v3v3 deathmatch. The first time in Smite that you're going to have 3 different teams on the same map. You're going to play over an objective, and it's basically first person to win, first team to win, I should say. 3 rounds comes away with the victory here. So you can have a max of like 7 rounds if each team wins 2, or you could just end the game straight away by winning all 3 in a row. There is a fog that comes in to promote people to go into the middle of the map. Think games like Battle Right, think like Battle Royale, so they kind of push you towards the middle so you can't just run away for the entire game. It should be noted that on the PTS, they're having a lot of problems with this game. They took down the adventure for a long time on the test server, and now currently you cannot queue as a duo queue. They're trying to see if any sort of group queuing in this game is making it have problems, but hopefully they get all those resolved before it goes to live client, because I think this could personally be the best adventure coming out for Smite, probably since like Capture the Flag in the original like PvE Hercules game mode. There was a quick update, guys, in regards to minor league streaming. They've slightly updated the broadcast schedule for basically everything in regards to competitive right now. So right now, the way you're looking at it is Monday through Friday, you're going to have the Smite Global games pretty early in the morning. Those games are then going to be followed up by the minor league, and then after the minor league is then you're then going to have the SPL games, guys. Right now, SPL games are starting at about 3 p.m. Eastern is their start time. So just time yourself appropriately for before that is going to be minor league. And of course, before those minor league games is the international games on the dates that they apply, just so everybody can try to keep up to date with all of these games. I do believe that the Global Series and Minor League are also on Twitch. SPL is strictly Mixer. So it's probably also streamed on Mixer if you guys want to just be there to watch the entire things. If you're in the competitive scene, you want to see everything. Probably easier just to watch it there, but I'm pretty sure you can watch the global scene and the minor league on Twitch, whereas for the pro scene, you have to watch it on Mixer. Lastly, folks, before we get into our big matchmaking conversation, we had the last thing that I felt it was necessary to talk about. You may have noticed, if you're a little bit toxic, that your account got banned this week, and that's because they threw out another wave of bans, guys. Another 1,000+ folks got the suspension hammer for, limited times, long periods of times. So if you found that you couldn't get into your Smite account, that was because hi-rez Stu came your way and saw that you were being toxic, guys. So if it wasn't a lesson beforehand when they banned several thousand, they're banning thousands more. If there was ever a time in Smite to try to be that positive person, don't put your negativity in chat, whatever you do. If you're going to be pissed, scream and yell to yourself. But the second you start typing in that chat, the second you start yelling at people in voice logs, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get yourself banned. Nobody needs that in their life. I think we can all do better and all do a good part to be less toxic in the community and just make ourselves the community we want to be. And so for those of you that got banned, use it as an opportunity to be like, all right, I shouldn't have called that person that. I'm going to be better. Now, folks, for the most important thing we're going to talk about this week, I want to get in depth into it because it's super crucial, I think, for Smite moving forward is to get this figured out. And they have thrown together a lot of good things. And so we're going to go through and we're going to talk about this giant sheet of information, guys. So Smite basically is completely working on reworking their matchmaking system. For those that don't know, they are literally redoing all of the math behind the matchmaking system. It's still not ready. As you can see, they're trying to optimize it, but it's still not ready to be used yet. That will come out at some point in the future. They're basically reworking the way entirely how matchmaking works, but there's still an issue where the top tier players get super screwed over by that new matchmaking system. So they're trying to figure that out. And once they get that figured out, we will have basically a whole new background of matchmaking working to make things better. Now, in the meantime, while they are working on getting that all figured out, there are other steps that they are working on making Smite matchmaking, Smite queues, all of that a better experience. And so one of the things you're going to see now, guys, is that all queues can be moved and will be moved to timed queues. This means that you will have a queue that instead of counting up, counts down. So think that maybe it's a 10-minute max queue, and then it counts down 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes. So you know exactly when your queue is going to pop, so no more missing your queue while you go to take a pee because it happened to pop that exact second. You'll know you'll have exactly, 4 minutes until this queue pops. This is how the matchmaking system used to work in Smite back in the early days. I'm not exactly sure why they strayed away from that system because everybody liked it back in the day. This also will allow them to have different timed queues for different game modes. So if they know that less people play, let's say, hypothetically, ranked Conquest, they can make that a 12-minute queue, so it's a better matchmaking. And even if it takes a little bit longer, right, you have better people in the match to get that better matchmaking, all that good stuff. And that means that they can take a game mode like Arena and be like, dude, everybody's queuing Arena all the time. They're always popping off on Arena. We can make an Arena queue a 3-minute countdown queue. So that way your Arena queue at max is 3 minutes, right? So that means you could still theoretically get into like a 30-second Arena queue, or you could theoretically get into a 1-minute ranked Conquest queue, but you will now know officially your capped time. Now, it should be noted the one negative that does in fact come with this is that there will be an odd number of people in the queue, which means that basically if you joined the queue at the very end, you may not actually get into the game. You may get the queue pop, and then you may not get thrown into a game because basically it was like, hey, there was 4 players left over. You guys are all thrown into the next queue, and then of course you will have priority in that next queue to make sure that you get in your game and everything is good, which is a great system. I think that's perfect. I love the countdown time. It's great for me as a streamer to know if I can go quickly grab water or something. Because the worst thing as a streamer is like, oh boy, I got 30-minute deserter. Like, what do I do now? So that's fantastic. Please let me know, by the way, guys, down in the comments what you think about this matchmaking stuff. This is the big topic of the day. I think it's been the topic of probably the year for Smite right now with this matchmaking. So please let me know what you think about any of these individual things that they're trying to do with matchmaking, and if you agree or disagree, because I would love to know. So moving forward, we are going to have a little bit of talk about Conquest. They're going to be splitting up the Conquest queues. Okay? Which seems a little bit weird, but hold on with me. They're going to split the queue into 3 queues. A normal queue, which is reserved for people fewer than 50 Conquest wins. Okay? There's going to be an elite queue. So this is going to be for people with more than 50 Conquest wins. So basically splitting normal queue, okay, into a normal and elite queue. So your very brand new Conquest players can come in and play. This is flipping amazing. I can't tell you how many thousands of people have told me, Incon, I would love to play Conquest, but I've never played it before. I only played Arena and Joust, and now I'm too dang afraid to go get yelled at. Well, now you can go play your normal Conquest queue, and you won't get yelled at because everybody else there has less than 50 wins. So you can finally try to learn a Conquest and get into the competitive game mode of Smite. I'm so freaking pumped about it. Next up, the elite queue. Think about it, basically normal queue, but for people that have over 50 Conquest wins. This would also include a picks phase, but no ban phase, to get people a little bit into the ranked system of the picks and bans, but no bans, so you don't have to worry about that. Just the picking stage, so you can get used to pick orders, stuff like that, make it a little bit more of a serious queue. And finally, ranked queue would stay, but ranked queue would only have solo players joining. This means that you could not group up in a party. So right now you can duo queue and ranked. This would be taking out the duo queue function from ranked. Now, there's been a decent bit of backlash about this, and I think that it's fair. I think that putting in the elite queue, obviously you'll be able to queue with your friends during that. I think that's going to be a great place to go play with your friends in a more serious manner. The problem with it in ranked queue is that when players like me queue with another Masters player, it puts 2 people together with immensely high elos, okay? And it really messes up the matchmaking system. Or, on the other side, if you're going against, say, Barra and Jeff queue together, right? They have super high elo, and it makes it so, in order to even their 2 elos out, they get 3 people that are really low ranked. I mean, we're talking, they'll get low golds, high silvers in order to even out their elo during certain queues so that they can be matched against a team of basically full platinum diamonds. Because this trying to even out the elo on both sides, so in order to even out the 2 Masters elos on one team that wanted to queue together, we've got to throw them with a bunch of really low ranked players and then throw the entire enemy team stacked of like plats and diamonds. Now, this is not fun for anybody. Believe me when I say that Silver 4s really hate seeing the Barracudas in their game because they think, oh boy, I can't wait to feed on stream because I got thrown into a Masters game and this is like my 15th ranked game ever. So that's one of the only ways to fix that problem, considering that ranked Conquest queue just has a lower player base in other game modes. And I think that throwing in the elite queue that lets you play with your friends in a more serious manner fixes the whole, but I just want to play serious with my friends thing. But I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments. Finally, guys, moving downward even farther, we've talked about all this kind of stuff, the timed queues, we've talked about all that stuff. Basically, to wrap it up, they think that they're hopeful that timed queues will reduce the number of badly matchmaking games. Basically, having those consistent countdown timers allows the game to throw the top 10 people in the same game. So the way that it works right now is that you're in a queue, right? You queue up, that's great. You may get a 1-minute queue, a 10-minute queue, whatever. You're not necessarily in the best matched game because it's throwing into the game where your elo works to even things out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that both teams are the 10 best players. What a timed queue allows you to do is everybody waits through the queue, right? The queue can then grab the top 10 people in the match, okay? And basically go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or it can go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whatever the system needs to do, but you have the top 10 highest elos in the game with each other. And then below that, you have players 11 through 20. And below that, you have players 21 through 30. So you always have, in that particular queue at least, the best possible elos back and forth for even matchmaking. Compared to right now, where Mr. 3000 elo got thrown into the match because somebody else had waited 20 minutes for their game at 1800 elo, and he helped even out the teams of the other teams that they threw in a bunch of people at 2400 elo, right? It helps fix a bit of that problem for more consistent matchmaking. So the timed queues, splitting up of those Conquest game modes, and of course the back end work on matchmaking that they are trying to do, all three of those things are going to have a massive effect on matchmaking. If you guys would like to read through all of the changes, of course, I will put that down in the description, guys. And please let me know how you feel about this. Are there any of these changes you disagree with? Do you like the idea of, Arena having a lower queue time than, maybe a less popular game mode like Ranked Conquest? Do you like the idea of knowing when your queues are going to pop? Do you like the idea of splitting up normal queue into normal Conquest and Elite Conquest? So is that going to incline any of you to playing? For those Joust players, Arena players, Siege players, Clash players out there, are any of you more likely to try to play and learn Conquest knowing that at most you're looking at a 50 win player on the enemy team and your team compared to a 500 win player? I would love to know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching and your support. I appreciate it. I know today's video was a little bit different. Instead of covering a lot of subjects for a little bit amount of time, we kind of had something that I thought was too important that we threw a lot of time into. Let me know what you kind of think about that format. I'm just kind of thinking that if something super important comes up that I feel like we really need to get into, that it's just more beneficial to just talk about that longer, than maybe like 6 other smaller things that happened this week that aren't quite as important. So if you guys like that type of format, let me know. And if that happens, we can make that happen. But, sometimes, some weeks, nothing that important happens, Sometimes it's just going to be, a lot of little things that people couldn't keep up with. But I would just love to know what you guys think about it. I made this series for you to help keep you guys informed, for those of you that can't spend every waking minute following Smite, which I have to imagine is basically all of you. But thank you guys, I appreciate it. Please let me know what you think about everything. Don't forget, we have a 8,000 gem giveaway going on right now, and we're giving away an Oculus Rift on Quest mode for our top contributor. So if either of those things interest you, those will both be linked down in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for your support, and as always, have a twitchin' day, y'all.
Thanks everybody for watching the video. If you want to watch more content, go ahead and click yourself down in the corner to watch another one of our videos. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can find that right up on there. And if you want to go ahead and buy some sweet merchandise, guys, you can click that right above my head. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a twitchin' day, y'all.